Hi guys, it's Chelsea from Smoldering Serpents. So I've been asked to do some feeding videos a couple times, and I did intend to do them anyways, so I figured today was as good as any to just start collecting some videos of snakes eating. They're not all due today. We have a couple different groups that eat at different intervals, so I'm just going to show you whoever's due up for a meal. Just a little disclaimer, I would hope anyone watching snakes eating would know that they're carnivores. They eat dead animals. They eat other animals, not always dead, I guess. But in this case, in this video, everything is pre-killed. There's no live feeding. But I am going to give a little bit of a warning. We feed our snakes a variety of food. So today you're going to see dead rodents, dead day-old chickens. And the one that I was thinking might bother people, potentially people who watch this channel, is there will be a dead snake. He was one of our 2020 hatchling Honduran milk snakes, and it was a very clear-cut case of failure to thrive, and so we made that decision and euthanized him a couple months ago, and he's been in the freezer since then. So we're going to feed him off today to our false water cobra. There's nothing too gory there, but it is a little startling sometimes to see a dead snake when you're just expecting, mice or something. But so that's just a warning. We'll have dead animals in this video, obviously. But other than that, we're just gonna jump right in and see who's hungry. Okay, so first up is Tempest, our false water cobra. You can see her plate of food is there. We have a culled milk snake hatchling. We have a day-old chick, and the little pile to the bottom of the plate is some chicken hearts. We try to give her mostly whole prey, but she does really like chicken hearts. She likes pieces of fish like salmon, tilapia, where we obviously can't give her the whole animal. So we do supplement her meals with some pieces. Here she comes. She just shed this morning, and I haven't removed the shed because I skipped her last meal, so it would be a little bit stupid to stick my hand in there for too long. So this is typically how we feed her. We don't tongue feed her. She is just absolutely nuts when it comes to eating. And that would just be asking for a feeding bite from her. She just has very bad aim and a lot of speed and power. So we typically feed her just like this. We put down the plate, we close the door, and we let her come and hunt it down. This will be the longest video on an individual snake because the other ones we usually tongue feed, but it is a lot of fun to watch her hunt this down. All right, now she smelled it. She gets very excited when she smells food. Usually her tail will start wagging around. She'll hood up. She just gets very stimulated when she smells food. So this is a bit of a different meal for her, especially as far as the snake goes. We feed her a rotation of mice, a very occasional rat. She clearly does not get snakes very frequently. Ideally, we wouldn't have to cull any hatchlings, but it does inevitably happen with breeding. So long as we know that the snake itself didn't have any contagious issue, and it was just one of those unfortunate cases of failure to thrive. In this one's case, he had just had no appetite. He would eat for a little bit and then just go on a food strike for no apparent reason. And there's only so many months you can try to get a baby snake eating well, so we unfortunately do have a couple of these every year that we have to make that decision for, and we would much rather see them than be used for food rather than just wasted. So usually we've given culled hatchlings to our king snakes before. They love eating other snakes, obviously. And Tempest here is at a good size right now, where a hatchling snake is still a pretty good part of a meal for her. It's a good size to incorporate into a meal. She's probably going to take a little while to get that down. She's just got to get the head in her mouth and then she'll slurp it down. So this is, again, this is a little bit of a bigger meal than we typically give her. I don't necessarily weigh her meals, but because it usually consists of so many multiples, I like to get a rough idea because eyeballing can be really inaccurate. So she's about a year old now, and she is still eating every 5 days, which is heavy for a year-old snake. However, I tend to think that very high metabolism species have done better from what I've seen with smaller meals more frequently. So now after she passes a year, she'll probably go down to weekly. But so far having her on smaller but more frequent meals seems to keep her satisfied, keep her growing, while also making sure it's a steady growth, not just, you know, she could be twice the size she is now if I really wanted her to be, but I prefer to just let them grow at a I wouldn't say slow, but just steady pace, nothing crazy. All right, there goes the snake. It is hard seeing some of them not thrive. I'm not particularly squeamish with this stuff. It is just a reality of breeding animals. They don't all make it. And I do feel better knowing that he's not going to go to waste. But of course, it is difficult to make that decision and to see them not do well. But it helps to have a snake who will appreciate the variety in their diet. So that chick is about as big of a single item as I'll give her. Typically, I like to keep things no wider than her head. She can take bigger prey, but snakes who eat like this, who eat very quickly, and just the mannerisms that they chew their food down and the way they hunt, they're very, very quick. And I tend to think of them as just preferring smaller, bite-sized pieces. She's taking that one for a ride. So, I mean, you can see she is definitely a broad snake, but she's quite lean. I have a hard time sometimes with these heavier set colubrids, especially trying to figure out their body condition and what they should look like, because, you know, if you compared her body shape to a rat snake, she would look pretty chubby. But the reality is, when I have her out and I can feel her and I can look at her muscle tone, I'm not sure if I'd want her to have less weight on her than she has right now, especially as a growing yearling. So the entire process of trying to assess body condition really varies with species to species, and getting a new type of snake like a heavy set false water cobra is a whole new learning process. But so far I'm really happy with the way she's growing and the way she looks. She's incredibly strong. And she's almost done that chick. Typically we'll stick with mostly fish and birds for the majority of her diet. We have a couple snakes who eat just quail, and sometimes they are just not hungry or they're in shed. So she'll get leftover birds quite, I wouldn't say frequently, but she's the garbage disposal for any birds. She's quickly outgrowing fish as a viable meal, only because, like I said, I like to keep her on whole prey. And up until now, I've given her, you know, a handful of frozen thawed silver sides to make up that whole prey portion of her diet, but she's getting to the point where I'd have to give her 10, 12 to make up any amount of the meal, which is not really viable. So I'm gonna have to look into different sources for bigger whole fish. For pieces, she eats salmon, tilapia, pretty much any fish you give her, but I can't just give her pieces of fish for a meal. It's not complete. And she loves her chicken hearts. We also give her frog legs, which again is not a whole prey meal, so we don't do it very often, but she does love frog legs. Goes crazy for frog legs. Kind of surprised she hasn't seen me here yet. She usually stops halfway through her meal to give me a good hood if I'm watching her. She doesn't really like being watched. She doesn't like being watched, but at the same time, I don't think anything would stop her from eating once she starts. Oh, she's gonna get both those pieces in one, okay. And she'll clean up those little pieces too. It might take her a little while because it's a little difficult for her to pick up with that big face, but she will clean everything up. There are no scraps left over when she's done eating. All right, but it's already been 10 minutes of watching Tempest eat, so I think we're gonna move on to the next snake. Get a little bit of a closer shot here. I'm sure she'll give me attitude at some point. Or she's just too distracted. Oh, that's yourself. Don't eat yourself. She's looking beautiful after that last shed. Her mom was a very, very striking cream and black false water cobra, and Tempest is turning out exactly like I hoped. She's looking just like her mom already. All right, well, she's gonna probably smear her face around in that plate for a while. Oh, now she saw me. And she doesn't care. So we're gonna move on to the next snake now. Okay, so the first one up after Tempest is Annapelle. She's our adult female Russian rat. She laid a clutch about a month ago and is living in here, and I know she's in under there. There's a hide under there. It's her warm hide. So, this is the, I showed you this cage in the room tour, and this is the biggest door that we have, and it actually opens from the top. So the latches are down at the bottom, and we just hold it up with some chains. Is it the best solution? No, not really. We'll probably, when she moves out of there, we'll probably split that door in half and make it side opening. But it works for now. It's kind of cool. I like being able to open the whole front of the cage at once. So anyways, enough about the door. So Annapelle today is getting a day-old chick. I apologize if my mother is watching this because she loves her chickens. Okay, so let's find Annapelle. I'm sure she'll be happy to come get it. Yep, there she is. Oh, she's a little sheddy. That doesn't stop her. Oops. Alrighty. Okay, so next up is Humboldt, our eastern fox, and he is peeking over his water dish at me, waiting for food. All right, he is getting a chick as well, a headless chick, because that just happens sometimes. Let's see, yeah, we'll give him this one. And I'm sure he's hungry. He usually is. Oh, yeah, he's hungry. All right. No need to be dramatic. It's dead already. Oh, he's going over. Oh, don't do that. Try not to let him roll right out of his cage. Oh, he's trying to... Sometimes snakes do this if they think there's a second prey item, is they'll try to grab it with their tail. Our black milks are famous for doing that, but there we go. Okay. He's back in. All right, I'll let him finish that off and move on to the next one. Next up we have Kirill, our adult male Russian rat snake, and he is getting another chick. Wrong way, dude. Okay, you wanna come this way? He's gotta think about it for a bit. Right here. The food's right here. Oh, he's being polite today. Okay. And put it back there so he doesn't drop it, but he's being polite. There he goes. He's gonna fall off anyways. Okay, well. He's a very silly boy. Oh, he's... Alright, well I'm gonna let him figure that out because he's excited but doesn't seem to know what he's doing at the moment. Alright, moving on. So last but not least for the birds, or at least the chickens, is Baron. Baron is sitting right there, but he will come out for this no problem. Apologize if I'm shaking the camera here. I'm trying. Oh. All right. So yeah, Baron has a good appetite. Baron is our almost 3-year-old calico black rat snake, and I haven't done a video on these cages yet, but I will shortly. But yes, Baron, I don't think has missed a meal in his entire life. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so first up with the mice, we have Jinx, and he is our almost 3-year-old male Japanese rat snake. And he is back there. You can see the blue lid. That's his humid hide. So he is hiding back there. My guess is he'll come out here pretty quick. There he is. No, let us see you. He doesn't want to. Okay, next up is Kementari, our female corn snake. And I know this is going to be a good show because she always is. There she goes. Okay, so last for today, but certainly not least, we have Calcifer, our northern water snake. So I'm gonna hope that he's not going to leap out of the cage like he has before. He's right under that piece of cork. And I guarantee he will come shooting out of there as soon as he smells this fish. Okay, that was good. He does this thing where he'll grab the fish and then he'll lift his front half off the ground and basically just fly. It really does look like he's just leaving the ground. And he just kind of, I wouldn't say flails, but he just kind of rockets around the cage, and if the door happens to be open, sometimes that means he rockets out of the cage. And I have had to catch him and pick him up while he has a fish in his mouth before, which is not fun, and now he's waiting for the second one. Here you go. Oh. He's right here. There you go. And gone. Okay. Oh, nope, I have nothing else for you. Okay. That was good. We didn't have Calcifer end up out of the cage, which is always a plus. Okay, so that concludes this feeding video. I will put another one together shortly. The weekly feeders are due on Wednesday, so we have some fun ones in that group. There are some feeders that eat today that I'm not showing. For instance, all 4 of our Phrynonax, Poecilionotus, they eat today. However, none of them eat off tongs. They're all really good eaters at this point, but none of them eat off tongs. So I basically just put the food down and walk away. And they'll eat. They eat very quickly, usually within half an hour. But it's not a whole lot of fun to put on film. So we have some like that that are just not exciting to show. Next week we'll have some really fun ones to feed. And so I'll try to put together another video then. But for now, that is all I have. We will see you guys soon for another video.